What's up, guys, and welcome back to In the Shop TV. Last episode, we took delivery of our 4-post lift and set it up. We're not going to do the extension cord thing to power this. Today, I'm going to show you how I get power to this lift, and after that, this 55 Chevy truck's going to get high. All right, that was really corny. Guys, I'm going to interrupt my own video because I just got some really cool news from our Captain Welders, the company that we've been working with for our welding machines and plasma cutter. So we're going to do 2 giveaways, actually 4 giveaways. We're going to do a Thanksgiving giveaway, which is going to consist of 2 pairs of the super heavy duty welding gloves. These are not the cheapo, crappy, thin stuff. This is really thick, high-grade leather. After that, we're going to pick 2 winners to give away a free welding hood, which is their large welding hood with a large viewing area. I think they have 2 different schemes. They have like a plain black one and then like 2 different printed color schemes on them, which are really cool helmets. I know somebody who's using them. They're very happy with them. They seem like a really well-made product. So again, that's 2 pairs of gloves. We're going to select 2 winners for Thanksgiving. Then we're going to have not 1, but 2 helmets that they're going to give away for our Christmas giveaway. You don't need to pay anything. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to pay for shipping. All you have to do is be subscribed to this channel and comment below that you're subscribed, and you're automatically entered to win. Then we're gonna go ahead and pick winners at random on Thanksgiving, and then again right before Christmas to announce the winners. Because you guys help me out and watch my channel, I'm super happy to be able to do this for you and give something back. And I wanna thank the people at our Captain for making that possible, and I wanna thank you guys for watching. So happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas to you guys, from me and our Captain to you. You guys are probably all itching to see the 55 get worked on again, and I'm waiting on some parts in the mail, which is the only reason why I'm making another video about this lift before that, but they should be here any day, and the next video, I promise, will be back on the 55. We're at the front corner of the lift, and as you can see right behind me, there's a dedicated circuit right there that I ran in anticipation when I put the shop up of having a lift right in this spot. So this post, we're gonna run power from here to there. I lined up the pump when I had the lift set up in the middle of the shop to be straight in line, so we have a nice straight run to get power to it. I am cheating a little bit right now. I'm using it for my traffic light up here and for just a regular basic extension cord. All right, so this is everything that we're gonna use for this project. We've got 2 locking ends here. We've got a male plug end, a plate, 1/2-inch nipple, a reducing bushing 3/4 to 1/2 inch, 2 strain leaf connectors 3/4 inch, 2 strain leaf connectors 1/2 inch. Got a 3/4 inch box, a 1/2 inch box, 20 amp receptacle, 20 amp switch, and then a toggle cover for our switch. Then we got some really nice 12 gauge SO cable that we're gonna use. The first thing I wanna do is just kind of get our 2 boxes and get them put together. Let me go ahead and turn them over. I know right off the bat, I'm not gonna be using the knockouts in the rear side, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the available plugs that they give you to close those off. So I'm gonna go ahead and move our 1/2 inch box to the side. We're gonna work with that later. Then we're gonna start with our 3/4 inch box. The reason I have a 3/4 inch box that we're starting with is because this SO cord, as you can see, is really thick stuff. So the string relief that we're gonna use needs to be larger in order to fit that SO cord into the bottom of this. So I'm gonna place just a small length of shrink tubing over this just to thicken up this outer jacket a little bit. Get rid of all that crap. So that's the bottom of our 3/4 inch box. This is where our connector is going to come out of to go to the wall. I'm going to connect both boxes together now, and to do that, to get a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch, I'm going to use a nipple, which is 1/2 inch, and a 3/4 to 1/2 inch reducer bushing. So the reducer bushing just goes into the top. Now we just tighten down the top box. So they're both nice and straight and bottomed out. So we have our cut length of SO right here, which is going to be basically a pigtail. Got a rubber strain relief and a lock nut. We're basically going to thread those in through the bottom. That makes a good solid connection there on our pigtail. So we're gonna leave our wire sticking out of the box right now and just work on our pigtail end here. But for that, coming out of this box, which is gonna be attached to the lift, is gonna be the male end plug. I'm using a twist lock. So we're gonna take our empty shell end, got a strain relief built in, slip our SO cord in there, pull it through to the length that we want our pigtail to be. Right there is about good, because I want some length up at your hand. I go ahead and push it down further just so I have some room to strip wire and work. A little mark here that it left. You know, that's how far up we want to go. Then wired up all 3 wires to the back of this plug. You want to clamp down on these really tight so you don't get any arcing. Okay, so here's our completed pigtail. We're going to leave this side for now. We'll work on our extension cord towards the end. We're back to focusing on the box now. All right, so I've got a switch here with a ground attached to it, and all 3 of these, ground from the box, the ground from the switch, and the ground from our pigtail, are going to get wired together with the ground from the power unit on the lift that we're going to bring in when we mount this. So they're just going to kind of hang out right now, and they'll get twisted together in a little bit. But for right now, the power lead from our pigtail is going to get connected to the bottom of our switch. And then our neutral wire coming from our pigtail here, which is the white, is going to also get connected to the pigtail from the power unit. All right, so we've done all we can do at the bench. We're going to take this over to the lift and get this mounted to the post and do the rest from there. All right, so we're mounted up here at the lift. I've got this end of the strain relief threaded into the box. Go ahead and tighten that down. And we've got the other end on our power unit cord right here, which we're going to slip into there. All right, so here's our 3 wires from the pump unit coming out. Go ahead and tighten down this compression ferrule here on the strain relief. You don't want to go gorilla tight, just snug. All right, so the first thing I did is twist all my grounds together and attach them nice and solid with a really good quality wire nut. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and snake a neutral wire from the top down. This way I have this neutral wire connected together, and this will be for our receptacle up top. And we're also going to snake one hot feed or energized line down here. All right, so here we have our neutral from our receptacle, the neutral that's going to come from the wall, and the neutral that's coming from the power unit itself, all twisted together. So on this bottom box, all we have to do is strip back the wire coming from the power unit itself, and then make that top connection on the switch. Now we just, as neatly as possible, try to stuff our wires back in there and make room for the switch. So this is the cover that we're going to be using to go over our switch. Just kind of a little claw back there that grabs the switch and flicks it up and down when you operate this toggle. In truth, you can use, there's a lot of different disconnects that you can use to do something like this. This is actually ready for outdoor, not even really meant to be in here. But this will work just fine. You can use an actual pull handle style disconnect, which I would have actually used, but there's not enough room to mount it on this post. And in all honesty, this is actually not even necessary since you have a twist lock plug here that you can disconnect. Before we continue on, I'm sure some of you are probably going, why is it doing it that way? You're not really explaining the methodology behind your thinking here. Once I'm done wiring this all up, I'm gonna go over the whole entire schematic here that I have in my head on why I did things this way and how it could not be done differently. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and install our receptacle. Our boxes are grounded together. Always remember, white goes to the silver terminal on the receptacle, and your hot or black goes to the gold terminal. All right, so that is what the completed end at the lift looks like. Now we've just got to build our extension cord. So essentially all we've really done is made a longer cord from our power unit, spliced in a receptacle and spliced in a disconnect switch, and made another disconnect here in the form of a twist lock plug. So we can't forget to plug up our top hole here. I wanted this box with the 2 top holes specifically for a future idea I have in mind. And even if you don't, it's always just good to plan for expansion. All right, so I've completed the female end. No sense in showing it to you. It's the same thing as the male end. Now we're gonna go ahead and bring it over to the lift and get it plugged in. All right, some embarrassing stuff's gonna happen right now. We're gonna run our cord down on the floor here to the power outlet, but we've got this hideous mess right here. What happened here is basically everything underneath this metal makeshift bench right here was in my welding cart, which I do not have anymore. I sold it because this top is going to become my new welding cart, which is a project we have coming up. But for right now, this entire mess has nowhere to go. It's just sitting right here in the middle of my floor, driving me nuts. And I got to clean up some of this stuff, because what we're going to do is we're going to run our cord here and up to where our outlet is. So I don't know how many of you guys have social media, but if you're like me and you look at tools and all types of other stuff like that, you might have been seeing ads for this company called Weaver, which is like incredibly cheap tools. Well, I took a plunge and figured since cable ramps are just something that's going to sit on the floor and collect dirt anyway, why not grab something cheap and see how the products really are. So we got their cable ramps. So basically, these just open up and we can put our cable in there, lock them down. You can drive over these, step on them, whatever you want to do, and not harm the cable. All right, so we've got our male end installed here. Moment of truth. So I'm going to go ahead and sheet and just plug it into the existing receptacle that we have here. The only other thing on it is our traffic light, which is off right now. But I will go ahead and off camera wire in another receptacle here that's on the dedicated line strictly for the lift. All right, so before we test this thing, I want to talk a little bit about it because there's going to be a lot of whys and how comes. And even amongst electricians, there's always a debate of, is it code? Is it not code? Did you do it right? Did you not do it right? How did you interpret the code? It's endless and it gets really convoluted. And for the sake of this video, I just want to tell you what I'm thinking, why I did it this way, what you can do, how it can be done differently, and leave it at that. So we have a 4-post lift, and this lift is meant to be portable. With that in mind, I wanted power that can be portable with this, okay? Now, it is always a good idea to have a means of disconnect when you power something like a lift. Here, this is what we've done, is we've wired in a disconnect. Now, basically, this just cuts power from our power source to the power unit on the lift. Why? Well, what if you go to turn the lift on, it's going up, and the button gets stuck, or you have a runaway lift on you? You could have a catastrophe on your hands. You need to be able to go ahead and click that off in a hurry, okay? So really important, in my opinion, to have a disconnect on a lift. Redundancy, I have the pigtail down here at the bottom, which is another form of disconnect, which usually does satisfy those requirements as per code. You could just unplug it, which is a form of disconnect. Realistically, all of this is redundant because I could just run the 6 feet to the wall and unplug it, and there's my form of disconnect. And then 6 feet from that is the breaker right in the panel where I can go flip that. So there's really 4 means of disconnect within a 6 foot, well, maybe 7, 8 foot area right here. So talk about redundancy, that's quadruple redundancy in my opinion. Maybe it's a little bit overkill, but I like doing things this way. Now, if you have a 2-post lift where it's bolted to the ground, or a 4-post lift where it's bolted to the ground, and the power needs to be more of a permanent type of power source, I absolutely recommend that you hardwire it, no matter how you do it, whether you suspend a piece of unistrut from the ceiling and conduit coming down and having a box, that would be acceptable. Same thing, if this was bolted to the ground, I would want this to be permanently wired as well. So we're gonna go ahead and flip it to on and test it out. You guys are all car guys watching this channel, and I hope I didn't bore you to tears with the electric stuff. I just see so many instances of people doing really shady electric crap that is just not safe, and it makes me worried for people. I just want people to be safe, use a little common sense, think about things when you do them, think about redundancy, think about amperage, think about your breaker, think about all that type of stuff. I know you guys are probably itching for me to get back working on this 55. I promised in the beginning of the video that we're going to be doing it in the next video. I'm going to keep my promise. We got some parts on order. They should be here any day now. And we're gonna get back to work on this thing. That's what I really love doing, not putting together lifts and not wiring them, but working on our rods. Guys, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. We have a huge giveaway coming up, so make sure you're subscribed for that, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.